Hello everybody, this is Killer Show here. Sorry for the late upload, it's been a very busy day. Now, when we have last left off, Deku and Toga had just reunited. And where we will begin is a little bit earlier. Let's cut to about an hour earlier, in fact, where Overhaul explained to Deku that what he did may have made Toga quirkless. Since her quirk may have been blood manipulation, her quirk may be weaker now. So take this. Which is whenever he would hand over a syringe with the quirk enhancing drug in it. Deku asks exactly what this is. Overhaul would say that it is a substance that his essentially gang created that allows you to enhance your quirk, which Deku finds fascinating. He would ask if they have any more, and Overhaul would say they do, but he is giving this one over as a gift. The rest he may have to buy. Now, Deku would actually ask exactly what's it made of. Deku wouldn't get an answer, and Overhaul would just tell him that it's made of something that it's made with someone's quirk, is all Overhaul would say. Now, after this, Overhaul would just walk away, and he would actually tell him that they'll be working together just fine now. Which we will cut back to the forest. Deku is carrying Toga bridal style through the forest, saying that this place is actually pretty nice. It's a shame what they're going to have to do to it. Which is whenever Toga would just quite simply say it is, but she has a question. Where will they go after this is all over? Which kind of confused Deku. What do you mean? Well, I guess we're villains now, so it's either we stay with them, we could run away together, or we could go to the police, I think? It's kind of confusing to think about. Deku would say he's not against running away with her, it's just things are a bit more complicated. What would they even do? Where would they even go? So, Toga would quite simply say she has a bit of an idea. But what before she can say, this is whenever Deku would actually hear someone coming toward them. This is actually 3 people. Froppy, Mina, and Uraka. He's hearing them come towards them, and Deku actually says that he has a bit of an idea first. As he would actually look through the forest, seeing them, he would actually just take out a knife, throwing it toward Froppy. Froppy would immediately see this, and this is whenever Ochako actually just jumps in the way, actually taking the knife in her shoulder. Now, after this happens, this is whenever Toga jumps out through the forest, throwing a knife, if not her syringe, pinning Froppy to a tree. Now, after this happens, she actually goes and she takes a lot of Froppy's blood. Froppy is left unconscious, and she actually walks over to Uraka, saying that she looks pretty nice, if not pretty, but it's a shame she's going to be taking a lot of her blood. Now, while this is happening, the heroes are actually trying to figure out what they're supposed to be doing. Because after losing All Might, you have Endeavor who stepped in. Endeavor's not really a lot reliable, but they also have the fact that they just lost another student from UA. So people are seeing that UA isn't very reliable. Now, while that's going on, Deku actually introduces Mina to one thing that she did not think was possible. A Quirk erasing sword! Mina would actually be going to try and attack Deku, if not trying to attack Toga, but Deku would have stepped in, saying that essentially her fight's with him now. Mina would just say that that's fine, but that acid is not going to be very nice. as it starts eating through Deku's clothing and his flesh. Deku would actually start screaming a bit as he goes to throw a punch, but Mina would immediately just try and smack Deku in the face, throwing as much acid into his face as possible, saying that, essentially, I think I have an idea of who you are. Your quirk allows you to regenerate, and you're wearing that red hoodie. Bakugo said that your name is... Wait, where is Bakugo? Where is Bakugo? Do you know where he is? Oh, Bakugo, you don't have to worry, but I have a better question. Do you know what this is? As Deku would turn on, full cowling, showing off his new quirk, saying, ooh, this is a bit weird. Well, I got one question. Do you know exactly what this is? What? That's Bakugo's. Yeah, this is Bakugo's quirk. But I have a better question. Do you know who it belonged to before Bakugo? Belonged to? Yes. I'll give you a question. It's kind of a bit of a... It's gonna make your head spin. Wait. Are you saying that this quirk is All Might's? Oh no. It's not All Might's at all. He passed it down, making it stronger. My boss ripped it out of Bakugo, giving it to me, making it stronger. As Deku charges forward, actually throwing a punch, essentially obliterating Mina. After that, Mina immediately just goes flying, and she actually gets impaled into a tree. Not killing her, but injuring her a lot. As Toga has gotten enough blood, she thinks if she drains them anymore, they'll just die, and that's not going to be any fun. So, she wants to go try and get as much blood out of Mina as possible, but Deku would say that he's not sure if that's possible, as his arm goes from being twisted and disfigured to actually healing up. Deku would say that apparently that hurt his arm more than he thought, but not just that, he's pretty sure that girl died. Oh well. As Dabi would actually walk up, about to start the fire. He's asking what they're doing, and exactly what that little thing was. Deku would say, oh, you mean this? As he'd pull out his sword. Where did you even get that? Oh, it's the thing I used on All Might. Essentially, it can erase quirks. It's actually... It used to be a regular sword, but I just doused it and coated it, and actually treated it with Eraserhead's blood, giving it its red gleam. So, it's actually coated in something that can erase quirks. Oh, you think I might be able to borrow it? I'm not sure, but I'll tell you one thing. I know Endeavor's here. Isn't he your old man? Ooh. He would love to see how you turned out. You know, you gotta stop pissing me off, Midoriya. I'll tell you one thing. How about I stab him with this, and you get to have fun with him afterward? I'll tell you one thing. That would be really fun to see. I might even break out the popcorn. Now, as he says this, Dabi actually says deal. Wait, did I say Dabi or twice? Let's say Dabi. My bad if I said twice. Dabi, he says deal, and twice, he is actually back at the villain's base. So don't worry about him. Deku actually says, alright, as he runs around, and all he would hear is a loud shattering boom. He actually tries to jump over and investigate that, but Toga actually jumps onto his back, saying, don't forget about me, as he would leap off. Now, we will cut over to Muscular. Muscular is having a bit of fun, and he's actually holding Koda over the edge. Deku would arrive, asking what Muscular is doing. Muscular would say he's having a bit of fun. In fact, this brat's parents took his eye. Deku would say, okay, he took your guy was his parents. That doesn't mean you have to kill their kid. That kid's what? Only 5, 6 years old? I'm not sure, but let's see if he can fly. As Muscular throws Koda over the cliff, Deku actually runs over, actually catching Koda, smashing into the ground, and this confuses Koda. Why did you save me? You're a kid. I'm a villain, I'm not an asshole. As he would let Koda run off, Muscular actually gets pissed by this, saying that, essentially, he wanted a bit of payback. He killed that kid's parents because they took his eye, is all Deku would say. That's no reason to go killing a kid. This would anger Muscular as he goes to attack Deku, and Deku would just slice him with a sword, turning off his quirk. Muscular would get mad and actually go to attack Toga, but Toga would be able to throw a needle, if not throw a syringe, into Muscular's, I want to say shoulder, but yeah, shoulder works. Throwing it into his shoulder, actually extracting quite a bit of blood. And this is whenever Deku would actually walk over to Muscular and cut off one of his fingers as he pins him down, saying that you go around causing chaos, but one thing he doesn't want to see is a kid die. In fact, I've been where that boy has been right now. Not by a villain, but by my own hands. I killed my father when my quirk awakened. That is a mistake I have to live with. But I'm not letting you kill a kid just because his parents pissed you off. As he actually stabs Muscular in the chest and knocks him out. Now then, Toga actually collects more blood from him, and they go off to where they need to be. They would arrive to see President Mike and the Pussycats, along with a lot of students trying to face off against the villains. Now, Class 1B would actually arrive, which is now part of Class 1A, and Deku would see this. Now, he would see President Mike, and President Mike would directly look at him. And President Mike would start screaming, as Deku essentially starts covering his ears, and Toga has essentially a pair of earmuffs. Deku, he created a pair of earmuffs with his quirk, and actually just gave them over to Toga before he can create his own. Which is whenever he actually just starts walking towards President Mike, as you just see the blood spouting from his ears, eyes, nose, and mouth. President Mike sees this, and he just keeps turning up the volume over and over again. As Deku gets right in Mike's face, actually stabbing him through the chest with a knife. Mike, his quirk stops working, and he actually asks what this is. Deku would just say, this is a knife he coated with Eraserhead's blood, basically making my blades able to erase quirks. Don't worry, you'll be able to see your friend again. But I can tell you one thing you're about to ask me. I didn't let him suffer. He died peacefully. Mike would just fall to the ground saying, thank you, as Deku stabs him in the head, killing him. Now, after this, he would actually watch as he looks over and he sees Dobby actually scorching Endeavor by just holding him by the face, throwing as much fire as possible into his mouth. As Endeavor is cooking and actually being filleted alive. Now, while this is happening, the Pussycats would see this, and this actually concerns them. Mr. Compress would arrive, and he's asking Deku what is going on, or what happened to Muscular. Deku would quite simply say he tried killing a kid, so he put a stop to that. Which the Pussycats would hear, and they'd actually ask where Koda is. Deku would just simply say that Koda is safe, but he can't say anything for them. As he just quite simply gets met with Tiger trying to throw a punch at him. Tiger would actually throw a punch into his chest, and Deku doesn't move. Which is whenever he asks Tiger if that's it. Tiger would say not yet, but Deku immediately just brings his hand up, actually gouging it into one of Tiger's eyes, and he just grabs a piece of his skull, ripping it apart. As he says no, he looks like he's done. The Pussycats are horrified, and Deku would quite simply say he'll do them one favor and leave one person alive to look after the kid. He's not a monster, but who would it be? You're already a target, he would say to the one with the tracking quirk, so he believes it should be Pixie Bob. They would quite simply shout no as they all try to attack Deku, but that would be in vain. Deku would only leave one of them alive, leave one of them captured, and would proceed to walk around the rest of the forest trying to cause chaos. All for One would tell them it's time for them to leave and evacuate, but Deku still has one case that he needs to figure out. As they get back to the base, Toga is having a lot of fun because she actually got a lot of blood. She immediately goes to take a sample of Froppy's, turning into her and asking them what they think. They'd quite simply say that girl looks pretty weird, but it's a cool part of her quirk. She would say, yeah, right, as she immediately begins trying to use Froppy's quirk. She wants to see if anything's changed since the last time, and as soon as she actually tries to jump around, she actually jumps up high enough to hit the roof, actually confusing everyone else. Deku runs back in, seeing Toga on the ground, asking her if she's okay. Toga would say yeah, she's fine, but just that's a first. As everyone sees, Toga is now able to use the quirks of the people's blood she drank. Now, Deku would say that he wants a better explanation of this later because it actually seems pretty interesting, but first, he has his own business to deal with. He would pull All For One aside, saying that he has the best way to deal with Bakugo. But he just needs some time first. All For One would say that's perfectly reasonable, but what does he mean? Time. Deku would say that he essentially needs to find a place and a time for this to happen. But it's going to be a bit weird. Now, while this is going on, Deku has actually gotten he would immediately just create a portal and drop a note on a desk. That just reads D on it, in a bright red letter. The man would open the note and find information that he really needed to hear. But he's now confused. That boy really is not too far gone, as I thought. But he still has some stuff to learn. Alright. Well, I hope you know what you're doing. As Nezu puts the note away, and Nezu would walk over and actually turn on the stove, burning the note. Now, while that happens, Deku immediately walks back in. Well, not walks back in. He walks outside, taking a leap off the roof, and he would kill himself once again, as he tells Lady Death to give Bakugo a message for him. He needs Lady Death to tell Bakugo that he needs to be at this place on this day of this year. Along with, he's sorry, but this is the only way he can ensure that everyone he loves comes out of this. Which is whenever Deku would come back alive and walk back into the villain's base. This would confuse them as he says that he's still trying to figure out this one for all business. Now then. This is whenever All For One would walk back in, actually asking Deku if he figured this all out. Deku would say yes, he has it all planned out. Tomorrow, him and Bakugo will fight. Except, to be fair, I want you to copy my quirk and give it to Bakugo, along with his explosion. Everyone would actually ask what Deku plans to do, and he would quite simply say he doesn't intend to use his enhancement quirk, but he intends to use his full quirk against Bakugo. He wants to fight him, and whichever one of us comes out alive will get one for all. except I don't plan on using it. Which actually makes All For One question. So, I gave you a quirk you're not going to use, but you still plan on keeping it. No, I'm not going to use it to fight Bakugo. Me and him have always been at each other's throats, but we're basically brothers. I want to find out which one of us is truly stronger. As he would walk back in, telling Bakugo, it's his lucky day. He's getting his quirks back. Bakugo would say, quirks? What do you mean? They're giving me back one for all? Deku would say, no. You always look down on quirkless people, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret about mine. My quirk, I can see everything that's going on in the narrator's room. I can see what he predicts, what he thinks, and what he's even doing right now. He has a can right next to him, which he just picked up. He has a pen in his hand, and he crossed off Mina's name as she died. He has Ida's name crossed off, along with a lot of people still on that list. What are you even? We don't exist, Bakugo. I hope you can see, well, I hope you understand what I mean once you get that quirk. As All For One will just walk in, still somewhat intrigued by what Deku said, grabbing Bakugo's head, pasting a copy of Deku's quirk onto him. As Bakugo would pass out, and he is somewhat in tears, as he realized everything Deku said is true. Now, I'm going to be leaving this part off of here, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and have an amazing day. And I have a good ending for this one.